White will attest, the toughness of the course, coupled with the physical strain, can make even the seasoned competitors fall victim to the safari's relentless trials.
I feel bloody terrible because I've just taken a couple of cobs out the diff. Just a little bit too tough for the old girl. So I think we're out now, unfortunately. We can't fix it.
Just one of the many obstacles is this boggy creek bed, full of sticky clay, which trapped the smallest car in the field, the diminutive Suzuki Jimny of Shinzu Mitsumoto and 66-year-old Mrs. Fumiko Mogi. It also caught out one of the Japanese Nissan team, but a helping hand from some media vehicles soon helped them on their way. AAMI team boss Andrew Stott in trouble again, this time with electrical problems.
The computer's got us.
The computer got us.
Along the way, the safari competitors tackle many amazing landforms. A high point on the landscape, but a low point for many on the rally as they head for the overnight stop at Mount Dare Station. Communications and safety network keeps watch over the safari from two Cessna aircraft, known to all as the Eagles. Remote area landing strips are serviced by the safari's fuel services crews who keep the aircraft refueled and flying from daylight to dark each day.
Here you are standing with a beer in your hand. Your mechanic can't find a fault on your truck, and everybody else is rebuilding bodies.
Yeah.
Putting in new diffs and all that shit, you know, and you're having a ball.
Yeah. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
What's the secret?
Well, we haven't hurt the car. We haven't hit anything we shouldn't have yet.
So you've been a bit clean.
Yeah, we've been driving it properly. We've been driving as hard as I can.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way to go.
You're still leading in national class.
We're leading the national class anyhow. So
terrific stuff.
Can't do any better than that.
Congratulations.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks.
Overnight camp at Mount Dare, and our camera crew have time to catch up with the many people who are part of the safari to ask them what it is that keeps them coming back year after year.
Very enjoyable, very demanding, very hard on us guys cooking the dinner and getting it ready and getting it time, but really enjoying it, having a good time.
Safari, I'm having a great time. Very, very good. Quite exciting, plenty of competition, thoroughly enjoying it.
I wanted to cook for this rally and I'm enjoying it. It's great. It's the first time I've been on it. I think there could be more food, but then again, that's life, isn't it? It's hard. You get up at 4, you work through 24 hours straight, and you change shifts. The next shift does the same thing. Other than that, I'm used to it anyway. I do it at home.
Because I like Australia and I like Australian humor and spirit. And because we eat a lot of sand, a lot of dust, very good for us.
I think it's a beautiful race through a beautiful country, and I hope to return in Australia.
Troy, you're your first year assistant director. How's it going?
Oh, all right. Yeah, we make a few mistakes, we fix a few.
How are the people going? How do you think they've
I think it's a small family this year, but it's a very happy family, and it's just great to see that everybody's out here doing it in the dirt again.
The start of the tour. Start of the tour. Yeah, mate.
Yeah, I guess I've been doing it for 9 years now, Ray, and the people you meet at camp here at night time are terrific. You meet all sorts. You meet international people, Japanese and Americans, and everybody's united in enjoying motorsport. Terrific.
I think we all come just for the reason of seeing country in Australia that you can't get into any other way. Every other place is like the Aboriginal reserves are all locked up, so you can't get into them. And safari goes through them, and it seems so much more country. And people now, just the people involved, got to come back.
Each year we keep coming back because we enjoy meeting all different people, meeting people that we've already met, renewing old friendships and having a good time and getting to Darwin, having some barramundi and beef.
Since 1986, Telecom Satellite Services provided a communication facility for the safari, for the officials mainly, and for the competitors. And I think the competitors enjoy ringing home each night, letting their families and sponsors know what's happening.
Well, it's hard. It's so hard. It's still hard. The weather is hard, the people is hard, the road is hard, everything is hard. The only word I can say, hard.
You know, I can know a lot of people, and I mean, everybody help each other. I like.
Well, there's all sorts of reasons, but really the most important reason is we like to race, and we like to get out there and race each other and see who's the fastest and who can go over the dunes and down the track the quickest, and you know, that's basically what's going on. We're all racing drivers, you know. That's what we do.
Mount Dare Station at dawn, and competitors set off again on day 5 of the Australian Safari, which will take them into the Northern Territory along the Andado track on the western edge of the Simpson Desert. High-speed selective section. This one is punctuated by steep and soft sand dunes, and they require skillful driving to negotiate.
Watch this. In this camp.
Frenchman Jean-Pierre Molocco's Nissan Terrano leads a procession of races, followed by Gold Coast Holden dealer Peter Lockhart and Bathurst Rod Jones in the Nissan Patrol. And then it's Townsville's Mitsubishi dealer Jeff Pickering in the Pajero. at St Carol's, Mitsubishi Triton was still going strong, as was the Tough Stuff turbo diesel Land Cruiser of Steve Cornwell and Ken Dixon, proving the diesels aren't too slow, and they head off across the clay pans in pursuit of the leaders. Leader Glenn Hoffman blasts over the dunes with a slight lead over Michael Goddard, but disaster was just ahead for Glenn, who suffered a blown engine later this morning. Steve Taylor from the south coast of New South Wales presses on steadily on his Honda XR600. It's his first safari ride, and Barnsey from Birdsville just keeps doing what he does best. Rob Emmons in the Diesel Rocky is running strongly in second place in the National Division and wishing he had more horses under the bonnet. And third in the Nationals is Dennis Coker, breathing down Emmons' back. Sand turns to rock as the safari course passes through Dingo Gap, through the ranges 300 kilometres southeast of Alice Springs, and yet there's no rest in sight for another 100 kilometres yet. High-speed twisting track around the foothills passes through beautiful cattle country on Todd River Downs and Ringwood stations as the competitors race on towards what will be a welcome fuel stop and a lunch break at Nummery Station. The small but potent Daihatsu Feroza of Brendan Powers and Bill Ewing races through the dust and rocks, and the Ironman Tough Feroza proves strong competition for the bigger and more powerful cars. Not knowing what lies ahead, and making a charge to try to regain the motorcycle lead from Hoffman, Michael Goddard streaks northward, riding tidily but deceptively fast. Henrion in the Range Rover V8 certainly won the award for the best sounding vehicle in this year's event. After the refuel, the action starts up again, and competitors are treated to some of Central Australia's best scenery as the safari course winds through the Antiempa Ranges en route to Ross River Homestead, 80 kilometres east of Alice Springs. And this is not country to take lightly. Bathurst Rod Jones, well, he's driving it without any brakes. Almost all of this spectacular section is off limits to the general public as it travels through the giant Loves Creek Station, an Aboriginal pastoral lease. A welcome sight for the competitors and a spectacular sight from the air. Ross River Station, the overnight campsite for Day 5 of the Australian Safari. It's Day 6 of the Australian Safari, and the competitors head away from Ross River Station to the northeast, crossing the wide and sandy riverbed 90 kilometres to the east of Alice Springs. Most competitors are now starting to show the signs of the strain, and many of the vehicles and bikes are already the worse for wear. The pace of the front runners has slowed somewhat now as crews begin to realise that they are only just past halfway, and it's not going to get any easier. Driving to finish is the tactic for many, and they know that their weakened machines will crack under the strain if forced too hard through the unrelenting Central Australian bush. In the motorcycle section, Michael Goddard on the Kawasaki KLX 650 has now taken the lead after Glenn Hoffman's Honda blew an engine, and Goddard now enjoys a comfortable lead. Running in second place among the bikes is Frenchman Eric Pecheur on the Yamaha XTZ 660, followed in third place by Steve Brown on another Honda XR 600. Still holding onto a strong lead in the national division, Peter Barnes has had a trouble-free run in the Toyota FJ75. Rob Emmons and Dennis Coker are also proving that exceptional bush driving ability can overcome power deficiencies, holding down second and third places respectively in the national class. Raymond Loiseau still has the big BMW in good shape and is wearing down the other riders with consistency and a great turn of speed on the open sections. The second of the Pecheur team, Eric, also in good order. The French rider's experience and stamina from years of desert racing is now starting to prove itself. Slow but reliable, the Japanese team of Masahiro Wakabayashi and the 80-year-old Kyozozo Adachi, the oldest ever safari competitor, driving a near standard Nissan Safari in the national division. Michael Goddard continues to dominate the motorcycle division. He's now 5 hours in front of Adelaide's Steve Brown. Brendan Powers and Bill Ewing had held first place in class, but they were forced out later the same day when their rear axle housing broke in two. New South Wales team Max Roberts and Tony Carroll finished the day 5th in their Mitsubishi Ute, while the Isuzu team of McClintock and Sajima had a bad run, losing 90 minutes with flat tyres and fuel problems. Eric Pecheur, who had been running well in the motorcycle division, retires on the last selective of the day with suspension woes. That brings the attrition rate to 59% on the bikes to date, but the bikes aren't the only ones having trouble. Reg Owen and Andy Brown's Nissan lost four-wheel drive and they lose time bogged in the deep, soft sand, allowing Garland and Suzuki's Bighorn to cut their gap by almost 14 minutes.
Very eventful afternoon. It was. We lost their brakes and we lost their tyres and we lost their way. You keep driving over all these rough roads, they can't understand it. You can't find any more rough roads.
Rod Jones and Warren Thompson, who survived the last 70 kilometres yesterday without brakes, now find themselves with very little rear suspension, and that's a big problem.
Well, it finally happened, mates. It fell in half. The whole back cross members broke out of it. Did you have a look? It's terrible, isn't it?
Birdsville's favourite sons, Peter Barnes and Colin Sutherland, continued to lead the national division with an untroubled run in their Toyota FJ75. They're proving that there's no substitute for a lifetime of bush driving experience, unlike this Taiwanese rider. Tough Stuff Land Cruiser of Stephen Cornwall was first car into the 6th overnight stop on the Stewart Highway at Whitecliff Well. Meanwhile, Frenchman Jean-Pierre Malocco in his Nissan Terrano pressed on strongly, conserving his car and staying out of trouble, and remaining just in front of the Nissan Patrol of Owen and Brown, who were still battling against the odds with only two-wheel drive.
People, I think if not all you people, know a wonderful Japanese lady that's been with the safari now ever since 1986, every year. This year she's competing, and tonight is her 67th birthday. And we're going to put a special dinner on here for Mrs. Mogi. And I'd like everyone to join us in singing Happy Birthday for Mrs. Mogi.
Oh,
happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mrs. Mogi. Happy birthday to you. Let's hooray!
Got a smile so bright. You know you could have been a candle. I'm holding you so tight. You know you could have been a handle. The way you swept me up my feet. You know you could have been a broom. And baby, it sounds so sweet. You know you could have been some perfume. Well, you could have been anything you wanted to. I can tell the way you do the things you do. Alright, the way you do the things you do. As pretty as you are, you know you could have been a flower. Your good looks were many. You know you could have been an hour. The way you stole my
Day 7 of the Australian Safari started with a real torture section timed by rally director Bob Carpenter to run directly into the rising sun. It was a real test of skill for the navigators, and many failed. The Tough Stuff Land Cruiser of Steve Cornwall was lucky to get out of this trap. French drivers Alain Smulavecchi and Blaise Henrion, playing a game of follow the leader, almost fell for the same trap.
About that gutter, I mean, it's obvious there, it is there. Keep left around gutter and then 150 metres turn right and across the creek. So, you know, I don't know what the hell they got to complain about.
Both of them so far, haven't they?
Can't be much more plain than that, can it? Plus it's marked up there with an arrow anyway, and another one here. So, it's just simply a matter of the navigators not being on the face.
In a sporting gesture that typifies the safari spirit, Rod Jones and Warren Thompson stopped to pull Opolenko's Daihatsu Feroza out of a rut that stranded it with all 4 wheels off the ground.